be listening for that as well. So let's get to some more music from the time of Kennedy.
One, two, three.
He rode easy in the saddle, he was tall and lean, and at first you thought nothing but a streak of mean could make a man look so downright strong. But one look in his eyes and you knowed you was wrong. He was a mountain of a man, and I want you to know he could preach hot hell or freezing snow. He carried a Bible in a canvas sack, and the folks just called him the Reverend Mr. Black. He was poor as a beggar, but he rode like a king. Sometimes in the evening I could hear him sing. I got to walk that lonesome valley. I got to walk it by myself. Oh, nobody else can walk it for me. I got to walk it by myself. If ever I could have thought that this man in black was soft, had any yellow up his back, I gave that notion up the day a lumberjack came in, and it wasn't to pray. Yeah, he kicked open the meeting house door and he cussed everybody up and down the floor. And then when things got quiet in the place, he walked up and cussed in the preacher's face. He hit that reverend like the kick of a mule, and to my way of thinking it took a pure fool to turn the other cheek to that lumberjack. Well, that's what he did, the Reverend Mr. Black. He stood like a rock, a man among men. Then he let that lumberjack hit him again, and then with a voice as kind as could be, he cut him down like a big oak tree when he said, "You got to walk that lonesome valley. You got to walk it by yourself. Oh, nobody else can walk it for you. You got to walk yourself." It's been many years since we had to part. I guess I learned his ways by heart. I can still hear his sermons ring down in the valley where he used to sing. I followed him, yes sir, and I don't regret it. Hope that I'll always be a credit to his memory, because I want you to understand the Reverend Mr. Black was my old man. You got to walk that lonesome valley. You got to walk it by yourself. Oh, nobody else can walk it for you. You got to walk it by yourself. You got to walk that lonesome valley. You got to walk it by yourself. Oh, nobody else can walk What did you learn in school today, dear little boy of mine? What did you learn in school today, dear little boy of mine? I learned that Washington never told a lie. I learned that soldiers seldom die. I learned that everybody is free, and that's what the teacher said to me. And that's what I learned in school today. That's what I learned in school. And what did you learn in school today, dear little boy of mine? What did you learn in school today, dear little boy of mine? I learned that policemen are my friends. I learned that justice never ends. I learned that murderers die for the crimes, even if we make a mistake sometimes. And that's what I learned in school today. That's what I learned in school. And what did you learn in school today, dear little boy of mine? What did you learn in school today, dear little boy of mine? I learned that war is not so bad. I learned about the great ones we have had. We fought in Germany and in France, and someday I might get my chance. And that's what I learned in school today. That's what I learned in school. And what did you learn in school today, dear little boy of mine? What did you learn in school today, dear little boy of mine? I learned our government must be strong. It's always right and never wrong. Our leaders are the finest men, and we elect them again and again. And that's what I learned in school today. That's what I learned in school.
Never gotten tired of that song. The Brothers Four, Green Leaves of Summer, from 1961. It was also used in the John Wayne movie, The Alamo. And these guys were actually frat brothers who first sang for beer in the 1950s. Before that, we heard from Tom Paxton, What Did You Learn in School Today? And Tom Paxton's career began in about 1961, his first album, that is. And the Kingston Trio, the Reverend Mr. Black. You're listening to What the Folk on WRFG Atlanta. And I'm Mark. Pleasure to be with you. I certainly appreciate the fact that you're listening and appreciate the calls that we've been getting here, or I've been getting. And we got more music, and I'll do my last bit of history in a little bit. But for right now, let's go back and listen to some more of the songs from the early 60s, the Kennedy years.
Impossible Now down onto the floor for this week's press conference.
Yes, well, there is no opening statement. I think I will just take the first question.
Bud Smedley, Washington Daily Herald. Sir, would you comment on the African situation, please?
Well, now, I'm not up to date on that. I sent a personal representative to Africa some months ago. So far, she hasn't even dropped me a card. Yes.
Arlo Sievers, National International Post, Dispatch, and Farm Bulletin, Weekly Morning Press, Gazette, and Daily Bugle have a high.
Let me say this about that now.
I just remember my statement. I didn't get to the question yet. The question is, any comment on the charges that your family has a dynasty?
Well, they're false. Now, I don't believe in those charges, and neither does my brother Bobby nor my brother Genghis. Yes.
Sir, we understand that on-the-spot nuclear inspection might not be necessary. Do you have a new way that we can tell what the Russians are doing without actual on-the-spot inspection in the Soviet Union?
Yes, we are asking everyone to be very, very quiet. You in the flowered hat.
Yes, I'd like to.
Not you, sir. The lady behind you.
Sir,
Yes.
when will we send a man to the moon?
Whenever Senator Goldwater wants to go.
Would you like your son to be president?
Definitely not. I think he should finish school first. Yes.
What are you going to do about the medical care for the aged?
Try to stay young.
about the eternal triangle. This next one tells the story of a Mr. Grayson, a beautiful woman, and a condemned man named Tom Dooley. When the sun rises tomorrow, Tom Dooley must hang. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley, hang down your head and cry. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley, poor boy, you're bound to die. I met her on the mountain, there I took her life. Met her on the mountain, stabbed her with my knife. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley, hang down your head and cry. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley, poor boy, you're bound to die. This time tomorrow, reckon where I'll be. Hadn't it been for Grayson, I'd have been in Tennessee.
Well, now, boy,
hang down your head, Dooley, hang down your head and cry.
well,
Hang down your head and cry. Oh boy, you're bound to die.
well, now, boy,
Hang down your head and cry. Hang down your head and cry.
well,
Hang down your head and cry. Oh boy, you're bound to die. This time tomorrow, reckon where I'll be. Down in some lonesome valley, hanging from a white oak tree. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley, hang down your head and cry. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley, poor boy, you're bound to die.
well, now, boy,
Hang down your head, Tom Dooley, hang down your head and cry. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley, poor boy, you're bound to die. Poor boy, you're bound to die. Poor boy, you're bound to die.
poor boy, you're bound to die.
The Kingston Trio, and folk music revival wouldn't be much of anything without them. And Tom Dooley was a song that was first recorded in '58, and it was considered one of the songs that really solidified the folk revival in the 1960s. And we heard the Rooftop Singers, also a seminal song of that revival, Walk Right In, from '63. Perhaps the most popular version of that song. It's also sung by the Terriers with Eric Darling, who later joined the Weavers, and Bob Gibson and Alan Arkin, the actor from Catch-22, and now on some serial with on TV now. He's still acting, and he's still quite a talent. He is quite a talent. And we heard Silver Threads and Golden Needles, Dusty Springfield, and later sung with the Springfields in '62. It was sung earlier by someone named Wanda Jackson. And let's see, Kingston, Tom Dooley. Oh, we heard from Vaughn Meter. Unfortunately, a one-hit wonder for Vaughn Meter. He did The First Family, and he would imitate John Kennedy, and the albums were funny and not insulting, but really, quite topical. And when Kennedy died, that was the end of Vaughn Meter's career, although he tried to do other things. He will always be remembered. He will always be remembered as the person who did a great imitation of John F. Kennedy. So a little bit of my last little history lesson, some bullet points for history headed into 1963. Bob Dylan and Columbia Records released the Freewheelin' Bob Dylan. That was his second studio album, which becomes a classic. 1963, Atomic Test Ban Treaty. 1963, the March on Washington, Martin Luther King Jr., I Have a Dream speech. Also in 63, The Feminine Mystique by Betty Friedan, published, sparking the women's liberation movement. And November 22nd, 1963, President Kennedy is assassinated in Dallas. So Lyndon Johnson becomes the president. The man accused of assassinating President Kennedy, Lee Harvey Oswald, is also shot as he is led from the Dallas nightclub owner. The nightclub owner from Dallas, Jack Ruby, was his murderer. And the assassination marks the first 24-hour coverage of a major news event by major news networks. So we're going to go out now listening to some more music up till the top of the hour. We've got about 21 minutes. I'm going to try to pack in as much as I can. And coming up at top of the hour is Jazz with James. And so we got some good music for you. So stay with us this evening. And thank you again for listening. I'm Mark. This is What the Folk. On the 22nd, we're going to be back with Stars, Southern Truth and Reconciliation. So do be listening to that. And hopefully we'll get this show up on YouTube, but it's famous last words. It's not done till it's done, but I'm going to try. Thank you again. You have a good evening and try to stay warm.
From CBS News. In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade in downtown Dallas. The first reports say that President Kennedy has been seriously wounded by this shooting. This is Walter Cronkite in our newsroom, and there has been an attempt, as perhaps you know now, on the life of President Kennedy. He was wounded in an automobile driving from Dallas Airport into downtown Dallas, along with Governor Connolly of Texas. They've been taken to Parkland Hospital there, where their condition is as yet unknown. After that shooting incident, of course, pandemonium broke out. The Secret Service men, well trained in their job, immediately began fanning out into the crowd, looking for the assassin. They have spread a giant dragnet around the city of Dallas, and they say that they're searching for a white man, about 30, of slender build, weighing about 165 pounds. They say that he apparently shot the president with a .30-30 rifle. Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, some 38 minutes ago.
A young man rode with his head held high under the Texas sun, and no one guessed that a man so blessed would perish by the gun. A shot rang out like a sudden shout, and heaven held its breath, and the dreams of a multitude of men went with him to his death. The heart of the world weighs heavy with the helplessness of tears, for a man shot down in the Texas sun in the summer Yes, we'll rally round the flag, and we'll rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom, the Union forever, hurrah, boys, hurrah, the Union forever, and up with our star, and we'll rally round the flag. Yes, we'll rally once again, shouting